He was referring to a book of Mayan mythology, one of the few written records to survive the religious atrocities of the conquistadors. I thought, oh boy, here we go. But I pressed ahead, saying, Tula just turned 13, you told me. Her mother's first name is something unpronounceable, so she goes by Mary or Maria. Tula arrived in Florida about 8 days ago, and you met her. You said you met her by coincidence at a trailer park the owners are trying to condemn so they can build condos. She lives with 5 other people in a single wide. Meeting her wasn't coincidental. I would never say coincidental because I don't believe in— I interrupted again. But you didn't tell me the whole truth, did you? You didn't say that about once a month you cruise the immigrant neighborhoods buying grass or fresh peyote buttons. The illegals smuggle in peyote from Mexico because it's safer than carrying cash they probably don't have in the first place. You used to drive your VW, but lately you've been taking your electric bike. What, you think it makes what you're doing less obvious? Just the opposite, pal. I waited, glancing at the rearview mirror until I saw the man's smile of concession, before I added, See, I was listening. Tomlinson disappeared into his own brain as I drove west, his right hand still surfing the wind, his left fist cupping a can of Modelo. Disappeared is a fitting description. Tomlinson has spent so many nights alone, at sea, he says, that he has constructed the equivalent of cerebral theme parks in his head for entertainment. Books, religion, music, whole communal villages populated, presumably, with Jimi Hendrix and Hunter S. Thompson types. All probably landscaped with cannabis sculptures trimmed to resemble objects and creatures that I preferred not to imagine. Tomlinson is a strange one, but a good one. His perception of reality has, over the years, been so consistently tinted by chemicals that my guess is he has reshaped reality into his own likeness. And it's probably a kinder, brighter reality than the one in which most of us function. Tomlinson is among the most decent men I know, if you don't count sexual misconduct, which I am trying to learn not to do. He's brilliant and original, something I can say only about a handful of people, and I count him among my most trusted friends. Again, his behavior with women excluded. He had come into my little marine lab earlier that day asking for help, and when a friend asks for help, you say yes and save the questions for later. It was later, almost 10 p.m., according to the chronofighter dive watch on my left wrist. March is peak tourist season in southwest Florida, so beach traffic was heavy, both lanes a bumper-car jumble of out-of-state license plates punctuated by roaring packs of Harleys. After several minutes of silence, Tomlinson's attention swooped back into the cab of my truck, and he said, This place we're going on San Carlos Island, the trailer park's named Red Citrus, and it's not far from the shrimp docks, and lately it's become a bitch of a dark space, man. I should have warned you before we started. I said, The shrimp docks? That sounds close to your new restaurant. Tomlinson, the hippie entrepreneur, had opened a rum bar and grill on Sanibel and another at Fisherman's Wharf near the shrimp yards, Bayside, Fort Myers Beach. I was one of the investors, as was my cousin Ransom, who also managed both places along with her 2 boyfriends, Reno Bentley, a Cajun, and Big Dan Howes. So far, Tomlinson's business acumen had showed no damage from his years of chemical abuse, so it had been a wise thing to do. It was one of life's amusing ironies. Tomlinson, who claims to have no interest in money or possessions, is gradually becoming wealthy, boosted along, perhaps, by his own fearless indifference to failure. I, on the other hand, remain steadfastly middle class because of my indifference, not counting a cache of small, valuable treasures I have acquired over the years. Jade carvings and amulets, Spanish coins of gold and silver, all will remain faithfully hidden away, barring an emergency. The trailer park's on the same side of the bay, he replied, but a couple miles farther east. That's why I used to like cruising Red Citrus. It was close enough I could moor my boat near the bar and use my electric bike. In the last year or so, though, the whole vibe of the place has changed. The aura, it's smoky and gray now like a peat fire. It's the sort of place that consumes people's lives. I replied, Isn't that a tad dramatic? He asked, You ever lived in a backwater trailer park? You've spent enough time in the banana republics to be simpatico with the immigrants who live there. That's one of the reasons I asked you to come along. People in that park work their asses off, man. 6 or 7 days a week picking citrus or doing construction or bussing tables at some restaurant.